Welcome back to Ben Leo tonight. Now, police have been forced into a rather humiliating apology over an investigation they mounted into a Newcastle United football fan banned by the Premier League club after she expressed gender-critical views on social media. Northumbria police have admitted to the accused, Linzi Smith, that significant elements of their investigation into claims she'd committed a hate crime were not acceptable. They said that while there was no misconduct by its officers, and there were plenty of officers involved, by the way, that they handled her case and similar hate crime reports in future should be subject to further training. Linzi was accused of being transphobic by a complainant who told Newcastle United that trans people wouldn't feel safe sitting near her in the stadium. This was after she posted tweets suggesting that a pro-transgender activist and activism was homophobic because it wanted to, quote, trans the gay away, and that some trans people were suffering from mental illness. But now the police have apologised, admitting that there was no actual victim in the case. Nobody complained. Well, I'm delighted to say that Linzi joins us now. Linzi, sorry to hear about all you've been through. I know we've spoken previously. Also, sorry to hear Newcastle got thumped by Brighton today, or lost at least. Thump's a bit generous. Anyway, what's your view in all this? Because you've gone through the mill, really. And I mean, do you feel vindicated?
I think there's an area of vindication in it. Like, I've waited over a year just to get this report back. But there's also a lot of anger. Because, from the beginning, I felt like I was being targeted. I've said that from the get-go. But then to just get this report and see just how much energy and effort's gone into doing what's been done to me is quite astonishing, really. I think I say to people all the time, if you didn't know it was me that it happened to, I think you'd think it was all made up, to be honest.
And you found out, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, how many officers were involved in this case and from which ranks?
So I think there was 14 altogether, ranging from just your general, bottom of the pile PCs, all the way up to, CID. I think were involved in it. It's
and there was no complainant. Nobody complained. There was no victim.
There was no victim. The person who complained on behalf of someone who could be offended by things I'd said online, and that was the basis. They basically just ran with it and decided to, it's just the fact it went through so many different officers, and they all just agreed to keep going along with it. It didn't matter the level it went to. It's really quite baffling. I think I still struggle with words for it, to be honest, because it's just
I don't
bizarre.
blame you. Do you accept their apology, the police?
Not really, no, because it's quite a half-hearted apology, if I'm honest. It's not even like it's a full-blown Northumbria police apologise. It was a flimsy, the investigating officer apologises for, what you've been through. And to be perfectly honest, it's not the investigating officer's fault. He was literally just a PC who was following orders. Yes, he was named and everything in the beginning and things like that. And unfortunately, it does, they say it rolls downhill, don't they, really? And he seems to be the one who's been left apologising to me. But at the end of the day, there was people of a much higher rank that it passed through before it even got to him. And
what about Newcastle United? I mean, they banned you, didn't they, for a period? Are you still a fan of the club and the team? Have you been back to any matches?
I haven't been back. I'm still banned. I'm banned until 2026 season,
You're
I
joking.
think. No, yeah, they've dug their heels in about all of that. Their defence the whole time has been that I did commit a crime. The only reason I wasn't charged by the police is because I gave a no-comment interview and they couldn't identify the account was mine. So on that basis, they went ahead and banned me because the tweets were offensive.
Linzi, that's a joke. So even after the admission from the cops that they got it wrong, they said, sorry, Linzi, we messed this up. Newcastle have said, well, no, we still think you're some transphobic bigot and you're not allowed back in the stadium.
That's pretty much it. Yeah, I'm offensive. Apparently, little old me is going to be a danger to over 50,000 people. I'm so dangerous. So I do make a joke out of it, to be fair. I think I call myself the scariest lesbian in Newcastle now. So,
well, 50,000 fans probably agree with you, Linzi, to be quite frank. I know you're made to feel like a pariah with gender-critical views, saying things like trans women are men. But I think the majority of right-thinking people who have common sense would probably agree with you. Are you still a fan, very briefly? Are you still wanting Newcastle to win?
Yes. It's not been a very easy season to watch. This season has been filled with inconsistency and things like that. And today was just as hard of a watch as Wednesday night was. But
Yeah.
you know, regardless of what individuals within that stadium have done, it's you know, I've supported this team my whole life, so I'm not gonna turn my back on the team. So.
Linzi, I'm glad this has come to somewhat of an end. I hope Newcastle reverse the ban, but thank you for joining me again for another update, and well done for keeping up the good fight. In an apology to Linzi, Northumbria Police said the effect of these events to your personal life is neither disputed nor taken lightly. The investigating officer extends sincere apologies for the situation you have found yourself in. You are correct in stating that referred to a hypothetical victim and that the offence for which you were interviewed requires a victim. There was no victim in this crime, and questions surrounding hypothetical victim are not applicable to the offence of malicious communication. The service provided by Northumbria Police was not acceptable. Coming up, all the newspaper front pages from tomorrow, some big stories on the front. Stick with me and I'll share them with you in just a sec. Now let's get your weather.